If you are struggling with weed addiction, becoming addicted to weed, or simply smoke too much weed, it can have detrimental effects on your health, especially your mental health. And in today's brief video, I want to take some time and talk about one of the worst potential side effects of weed addiction or overconsumption of weed products. If you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching Programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances that I once struggled with. For more free and paid resources regarding our coaching programs, be sure to check out the link in my profile, the pinned comment, or the video description. This is a very controversial topic, but I want to be as blunt as possible in today's video so you guys can avoid making some of the mistakes that I once made. And this applies to you if you smoke or if you're the parent or the family member of someone who's succumbed to weed addiction. When it comes to weed, I just published a bunch of videos on my channel about the apparent detrimental effects it's having on people's mental health. Currently, the studies that we have out of Canada, Denver, Colorado, and other places with approved legalization are seeing a deterioration in mental health of people who consume cannabis, okay? And they're seeing increases in anxiety, increases in depression. They're seeing a lot more suicidal ideation among cannabis users. They're seeing a lot more symptoms of psychosis, manic episodes, and schizophrenia. Long-term cannabis use right now, when it comes to smoking weed, the literature is very clear that the outcomes are negative, okay? And this is a complicated topic because a lot of people smoke weed because of trauma, because of anxiety, because of depression. I know I was once in this boat. But what happens is eventually when you become addicted, addiction simply layers on the anxiety, the depression, the trauma, because addiction in and of itself is a traumatic, stressful thing to go through, right? So long term, we know that weed is not good for all of these things. Now, here's the big problem, okay? You're going to have a lot of people, and I see this happening every single day, whether it's in my addiction practice or in my chiropractic practices where we deal with people who have chronic pain. I'm watching this happen in real time. People are suffering from depression, anxiety, mental health issues, okay? They go to the doctor, their doctor sends them to the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist starts to dish out a bunch of different scripts, which I am all for certain medications with certain individuals. Let me be clear. That is a decision between you and your doctor. But let me explain something and be crystal clear about something. If you are smoking a lot of weed, there's a good chance you're partaking in other behaviors that are not great for you. Maybe you're not working out. Maybe you're not eating healthy. Maybe you've developed a video game addiction or an adult media content addiction like I did when I was constantly under the influence of cannabis, right? When I was under the influence, I was not partaking in healthy activities. My diet was worse. My exercise was worse. My relationships were crumbling. Financially, I was becoming in a worse and worse spot because of addiction. Okay. And this is coming from someone who had a doctorate, who has businesses, who's done well for themselves, even in spite of addiction. Okay. Now you're depressed. You're anxious. You're not sleeping at night. You're getting panic attacks. You're having manic behavior. You're behaving like you're bipolar, maybe. You go to see a psychiatrist and they say, yeah, you know what? You have insomnia. I'm going to give you Ambien. You're fatigued, so I'm going to give you Adderall because, I think you've been covering up symptoms of ADHD. So that's going to help with the fatigue. And you're depressed, so we're going to put you on Lexapro. Okay? And it could be any concoction of 3 or 4. You're anxious, we'll give you benzos. 3 or 4 different medications that you're going to walk away with. And in this time, you are struggling with an addiction and you are going to continue smoking weed. You are going to continue down the path of addiction. And now that path of addiction has just had 4 more medications layered on top of it. And now what's happening is you are just becoming another number in the system. You are user number 1 billion on Adderall, user number 2 billion on Ambien. You are script number 1,145 at the pharmacy register each week you're picking up your drug. Okay? And I am not saying that medications don't have benefits, because they do, and I understand that. But to jump to a medication assisted approach when you have yet to quit weed, when you have yet to get treated with addiction, when you have yet to maybe correct the lifestyle that you've been living under cannabis addiction, when you have yet to do the work to clear up the stress and the situations that have been created by addiction, do you really think getting more medicated is going to be the answer? Short term, it might be. Short term, that Adderall, that whatever drug it is they give you, yeah, you might get a hit of dopamine again. But long term, those medications have consequences. They have side effects. And we don't have good long term studies on using those medications in conjunction with cannabis, because cannabis has been a scheduled substance. So we don't have the data on that. It's coming out, but we don't have good data on that. And a lot of doctors, I see this all the time, they'll say, no, it's good. It's okay to keep smoking. Weed it's all right. It helps with anxiety. No, the weed is good. It helps with the stomach issues. Even though this person has Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome and weed is literally killing them, physically killing them. I see this happen all the time, and I'm starting to see it happen more and more frequently. Maybe the answer to working on the depression and working on the trauma is stopping smoking weed, right? Something that's been shown now, proven in literature, to be detrimental to long-term mental health conditions. Stopping smoking, getting help in your sobriety and recovery process, and changing all these other lifestyle factors that addiction has sucked you into and promoted that probably also aren't helping the mental health, the anxiety, and all those things. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying all these problems are solved by eating healthy, meditating, going to the gym, and just not doing drugs. I understand that some people need help and they need medications. And look, I'm not even against that. It's not my place to talk about it with a patient as a coach, but I'm not even against that, because look, Lexapro might be significantly benefiting your life where weed was destroying your life, right? Medication-assisted detox might be necessary in your case, okay? That's fine. What I'm arguing is don't become another part. Don't become another script number. Don't become another patient number. You don't want to live your life, if it can be avoided, in and out of doctor's offices, in and out of pharmacies, doctor to doctor, trying to figure out which medication is causing which side effect and which thing is messing up your life now. The goal is to free you from this system, from this thing. And I see people falling victim to it every single day, talking and interacting with hundreds of people a day on DMs and emails, doing now thousands of coaching phone calls in our group and one-on-one coaching. I see people this close, just like I was, just an inch away from slipping into this system, right? And I don't want you guys to wind up there. So please realize it's not easy. Okay, none of this is easy. Getting medicated up to high hell and going from doctor to doctor isn't easy. Quitting a drug isn't easy. Going through recovery isn't easy. But I'm telling you, the outcomes of taking the necessary steps first before jumping to those more intense conclusions, I think the benefits of that far outweigh any of the hardships that you might face. Okay, and look, at the very least, even if you're going to do a medication-assisted approach, if you and your physician decide that's what's best for you, get the weed out of the picture, because it's like, okay, maybe the Lexapro could help. Maybe the bupropion could help. Maybe the Ambien could help. But if you still have the drug involved, in this case weed, that's causing all the problems, you are working against yourself in your care plan. You are literally holding yourself back from succeeding. Now, again, my opinion, before you jump on all those drugs, talk about getting off weed. That's where it should start. That's where it should start. Start there, see what happens, and then reassess, and then see if you need to throw in more heavy artillery stuff, okay? If you guys need more help with this, check out the link in the profile, the video description, or the pinned comment for a free 7-step guide on quitting smoking weed. Or follow me in the next video to talk more about weed and mental health.